Well, hello everyone. I'm here with Glenn Sanford, CEO and founder of eXp. Glenn, thank you.
Bjorn.
Nice to be here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm just a guy, you know. No, well, I'm almost 57 this week.
57. This week, happy birthday.
2 weeks from now, I'll be 57.
Advanced happy birthday.
Thank you. I've been in the residential real estate business now since 2002, so that's about 21 years.
Awesome. And what gave you the inspiration to create this amazing company that's global, 24 countries, 89,000 agents? Where were you coming from when you thought this up?
Yeah, well, when I got into the business, I'd been mentored in business by my dad and some other folks before I got into real estate. And I noticed that real estate had all the trappings of a business, meaning you got lead generation, sales, income, expenses, all of that.
Yep.
But I quickly realized that I didn't actually own a business, the business owned me. And so for me, it didn't make sense based on my mentoring and things in business. So I was like, how do I solve this pain point? Because if I've got this challenge of how do I build a business that I can actually sort of take care of my family or create a legacy around, if I have this challenge around real estate, my thought was there's lots of other agents that would have the same challenge.
100%.
So it's like, how do we solve that? How do you sort of think big enough to ultimately solve that? So we just kept on iterating on it for a number of years, just kind of thinking about what would the next generation real estate brokerage be. And then in 2008, as you probably know, the housing market in the U.S. and around the world kind of took a nosedive.
Big dive, yeah.
And inside of that, I had to basically get rid of my physical offices. And at the same time, in 2008, 2009, we finally had high-speed internet pretty much everywhere. So high-speed internet, we had 3G on phones, which was actually pretty decent back then. We had cable internet in all of our homes. And so it's like, why do we need a physical office? And then if we don't have a physical office, what would be the compelling reason why I, as a successful realtor, would be willing to kind of join a different company? And so for me, it's like, well, if I could solve the retirement problem, that piece, that would be enough to get me to make the move. So we basically took the savings of not having physical office, put a bunch of the savings back into the comp plan so that agents could ultimately build a retirement.
Awesome. It's an amazing company. I was, I think, agent number 13. I think Chris Jansen was agent number 14 in Australia. And nobody had heard of any model like this in Australia when it first came out. But it was a model that I'd always dreamed of. So someone has to create a system where everyone's equal, everyone has an equal right and say, but it's not a communist party.
Right.
But we all have the opportunity to not just list and sell for the rest of our lives, but create some sort of residual income, which is definitely what we've done here at eXp. I mean, we've grown a team together. We've got a property management rent roll. We've got shares, which are absolutely amazing because we traded on the NASDAQ. So you've changed so many people's lives. And I know you probably hear it all the time from everybody. They say thank you and say thank you and thank you. But seriously, thank you, because what you've created is absolutely amazing. But let's talk a little bit about it, Glenn. Real estate aside, what do you do in your free time? What do you like to do? What are your hobbies and interests?
Well, I'm a long distance runner. I like to boat.
Boating, that's one thing that we love.
Okay.
We love boating. Come to South Australia, we'll go boating.
Okay.
We'll go boating.
And then just left the self-defense thing that we've got going on here at eXpCon. I did 27 years of judo and some Brazilian jiu-jitsu, so I'm really been fairly athletic most all my life, so still, even at knock on wood, 57 years old, coming up on, I'm still keeping that going. So I got I've got 2 daughters, and we're starting to do the boyfriend thing and starting, family activities.
Watch out. Boyfriends and daughters. I've got a daughter myself. She's 6 years old. And I'm like, you are not having a boyfriend till you're like 50. But yeah, cool. Awesome. What about golf, fishing, anything like that? Or you just prefer boating? Or?
Yeah, boating, just, I think more, I have fished. I'm not a big fisher guy. I know Chris is like a crazy fisher guy.
He is.
Pretty simple.
So whereabouts do you live? I understand it's Washington, is that correct?
Yeah, north of Seattle, south of Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. So right halfway between.
Have you always lived there, or have you sort of moved around a little bit in the States?
For most of my life, I've lived up in that general area. I lived in Canada till I was like 14 years old, and I've lived 6 years later, 20 miles away, but in the U.S. side.
Okay.
Since then, since '86.
Cool, awesome. Well, thanks for chatting to us. And for those of you that don't know who Glenn Sanford is, just get on Google and you'll find out pretty quickly. And thanks for putting together this amazing event. I'm really excited to be actually speaking and delivering my message to agents, because I've really simplified my real estate business and brought it back to basics, because there's a lot of things in real estate that involve a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of integration, a lot of tech and things like that. But I've just kept it really simple and it's worked out really well. So I'm glad that you're allowing me to portray that message here, because I know we are an AI conference this year, and I know that that's not quite in line with AI, but I'm really appreciative and grateful for this opportunity. So
Awesome.
thanks for chatting to us.
Appreciate it.
Bye for now, guys.